Welcome to Smoko with the AFI. On this episode, Mick has joined us to discuss a little bit more about energy.
The Australian Farm Institute commenced a research project late in 2017, which is essentially an audit of the energy use in the agriculture sector. A key issue of debate, one of the real problems for the agriculture sector, was their ability to actually spell out the significance of energy use in businesses in the agriculture sector, and therefore the impact of potential changes in energy policy to how the sector performs. So this project that is nearing completion is the first time we are aware of where there's been a full stock take of the energy use that's occurring in agriculture right through the supply chain. So, for example, we can say that a kilo of lamb on the retail shelf involves the utilisation of X amount of energy on the way through, or a kilo of grain, etc. So, and not only that, I think the other important thing is we understand where in the supply chain that energy use is occurring, because that can be critical as well. It's often not on the farm, particularly for broadacre farms, but obviously for irrigation farms, for dairy farms, for intensive livestock farms, it's a different picture altogether. There's much more energy use at the farm level than in the broadacre industries.
So we've included a number of case studies which will look into the impacts of energy costs on a greater detail, and they'll also include case studies on solar developments in agriculture, which will give a picture of the future state of agriculture given rising energy costs.
And you've been heavily involved in conducting this research. Is there one number, one figure, one piece of information that's really stood out to you in relation to energy use in agriculture?
Well, on the whole, Mick, I think it's important that that we kind of highlight the lack of data on energy use in agriculture. That's been a really big barrier in the current project.
And that, I guess, then becomes a difficulty in policy discussions, because of course the sector can't stand up and say, well, if you implement this energy policy, these are the likely implications. So that's what your project is aiming to.
We're trying to get together some solid evidence on the actual impacts. It's been hard given the lack of data on energy use. So it'll be good to kind of get that bigger picture understanding for the whole of agriculture.
And it's interesting because the ground's changing a bit in that we're going from distributed energy systems to much more localised energy systems. I remember an article in the media just in the last week where the major meat processor at Goulburn, for example, is putting in a biodigester, which will of course generate methane and presumably almost take them off the grid. So that higher energy cost environment we've gone into has forced a lot of innovation in energy use. Have you found that in your research?
Particularly around solar developments. That's been a big part of the research.
What's your feeling about that? Do you think agriculture is going to end up off the grid, away from distributed energy systems?
Producers are looking at the feasibility of moving off the grid, but I don't really think it's a reality at this early stage. So a part of our research will be to look at different case studies that might highlight different avenues for the sector to go down.
So I think in the end it will be a very useful piece of information, because energy is foremost in policy debates at the moment, and it's certainly true that the agriculture sector depends heavily on energy, but is perhaps a bit missing from this debate. So
definitely.
Very useful information.
Yes.
This is certainly a very topical issue. We've got the Keogh ministers meeting today to try and thrash out the details of the National Energy Guarantee, which is in effect the future national energy policy. We've had the National Farmers Federation come out and call for an end to the stalemate on energy policy because of the uncertainty that's been created. So it certainly sounds as if this report that's coming out in early May will be very critical to the future of that discussion.
Thanks for watching Smoko this week, and we'll catch you next time.
Beautiful.
Okay. I'll introduce it.
That's very good. That would be good. Because I don't know what we're doing.
Okay. It's early days.
You're going well. The Australian Farm Institute commenced a project. God.
It's his first blue
Thanks for watching the AFI Smoko this week. We'll catch you next time.